Hey everybody. So I've been thinking about the way class ended on Wednesday. I'm not too happy with it. We really rushed through at the end, and I think I sort of lost all test-driven development discipline in like that last part of class. And so um, I want to go back and I want to redo some of the things that last part of class, so that I can provide a better example of test-driven development done better. Um, and so I was thinking about how to do this, and it's like, wow, I really wish I could like go back in time, like sort of like how in Back to the Future 2, when old Biff takes like the sports almanac and goes back to 1955 and gives it to his younger self, and all of a sudden there's like this alternate future of 1985 where Biff is like all successful and everything's all bad. Well, that's kind of what I want, but I want better test-driven development. Um, and so I was thinking, wow, how could I do this? And I realized that, well, I do kind of have a timeline, a history of all the work in Git. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make something called a branch in Git. I'm going to go back in time in my Git repository a little bit. I'm going to go back to back before I lost all the TDD discipline, and start again from there. So I'm going to get my source code back to that point. I'm going to make this branch in Git, and I'm going to go from there. So I need to figure out how to do this. And here I am in IntelliJ. I'm going to look at Git, and I'm going to look at the history. There we go. Show history. So here are all the changes. Oh yeah, here's where this is like the last commit that I made at 9 p.m. as we were all getting tired and all wanted to go home. What I really want to do is I want to go back to this commit right here at 8:30 and start over from there. And so I want to create a branch there, and I'm not sure if I can do this here in IntelliJ. Copy revision number. That might be important. So in Git, every time you make a change, it has a revision number, and the revision, unlike in like Subversion and CVS, it's not like a monotonically increasing number. Instead, it's a hash of all the changes that you've made up to date. So it's not like they go in any order or anything, but it's guaranteed to be unique and makes merging a lot easier. Anyway, I'm going to copy that revision number. And then I'm going to go up under the Git menu again and say branches, I think. So, oh, here we go. New branch, check out tag or revision, remote branches. So it's telling me the current branch is master. That makes sense. I thought there was a way. Check out his new local branch. That sounds like maybe something I want. Enter name of branch. Well, first of all, what I want to do is I want to go back to that particular revision. So maybe I need to have a different menu item here. Revert, no, stash, reset, rebase. What does rebase give me? Blah, 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 onto blah, from, no, I don't think that's what I want either. I thought I'd come across this the other night when I was looking. Jump to source, compare with class, annotate, get, create patch, show all. I'm going to pause this for a second so you don't have to watch me look for the answer, and I'll be right back. Okay, I did have it right. I wanted to do branch, and then let's see here, branches. I want to say check out tag or revision, and I think that revision, yep, that guy is on the clipboard. So let's see if that works. Okay, check this out. So now if I go and I refresh, I think what I'll see, synchronize this. Compare revisions local, checked out. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So now, like the only stuff in its history, it starts with this one at 8:33 and just goes backwards. So now I want to create a branch from this point in time. So I'll go VCS get branches. I want to say new branch, and I'm going to call it tdd-done-better. Okay, cool. So let's see what I've got as far as my code is concerned. Oh, that's interesting. It's telling me that student is now at that revision. That's kind of neat. Student test. I've got all this stuff, but I don't have that the test case that I added at the end where everything was that it said. Okay, so let's run everything here. Let's right click, say run student test. I'm going to be using Control Shift F10 here a lot, so I don't need to do all the right clicking and everything. Okay, everything runs. That's good. Let's filter out all the passing ones. Okay, so let's see here. Now let's write one more test. So let's see here. Like what I did last time was all the stuff around the says method. And so I think the tack that I'm going to take now is instead of testing sort of like invoking the main method, I'm going to test some methods of the student class directly. But first, let's just sort of do that as sort of uber test the last test again. So this is command line example from assignment. So I'm going to have this just so I know ultimately where I need to go, so I can test it later. But then I'll put an add ignore on it and then build it up over time. So let's see here. So when I do, invoke student main with, let me go find the assignment again. Is this it? Yes. Okay. With these command line arguments. Let's see here. This was varargs, right? Yeah. Oops, we're missing comments here. So when I done all this typing. And okay, when I invoke student like that, we assert that result dot get out contains string this guy. So this is ultimately what we're going for. And we don't want that new line there. It's kind of hard to. I'm going to put a new line just so it's a little more readable, I guess. Well, not a new line, but I'll break up the string. There we go. Okay, so again, Control Shift F10. Okay, yep, this one blows up. It says it was empty. That's totally what I expect. Oh, I guess one other thing that I should assert that result that get exit code equals 0. Okay. So I've added this test, and I'm just going to add ignore it. I know it fails. This is like ultimately where we want to get to. Let's just run them all to make sure that everything's okay. Okay, one's being ignored. Now I'm going to commit this change, and this is where it's something a little different in Git. So I've got this one change to student test, and now I'm going to commit it. Added the test for the example command line input output from the project assignment. Okay, so let's see here. Now I'm going to commit and push. Okay, it's interesting. Okay, so here's like all the revisions that doesn't think have been pushed back yet. I'm going to tell it to push not to the master branch where all the other changes have been made. I want it off on my branch in GitHub. This will create a new branch in GitHub called tdd-done-better. So yep, I'm going to push it off there. And by origin, it's like GitHub as opposed to, or actually my GitHub repository as opposed to somebody else's. So we'll push that. Okay, everything was happy. Let's go see. Let's take a tour of GitHub, and I want to point out a couple of things to you. So let's see here. Here is, let's go up to my repository. Here's 2014. Okay, so this is GitHub, and it's got a little drop down right here that talks about branches. And so now, in addition to master, which is like just the one we've been working off of, we now have this tdd-done-better branch, and this is the branch that I just created. And so let's see here. I think you can better visualize it by going to this branch view right here. And it says, okay, the master branch is master. And let's see here, all branches. There used to be a little timeline view. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, though. And so it says, okay, there's this tdd-done-better, and that was last updated by me. And it gives me a little summary here. It says 1 commit ahead when compared to master. So, yep, I've made 1 change and 3 commits behind, because that's true. After I branched, there were 3 other commits. One was the crazy commit from Wednesday night that I'm not going to do, and then the other 2 were playing with those. We're adding those jars back into that app lib directory. There was some discussion on the Google Plus community about that because we realized that those were not being committed to GitHub. And so then I did commit it. I still haven't figured out the right way to fix all that. But anyway, eventually I'm going to want to merge my changes from this branch into master. But that's something that we'll get to once we've done all of our TDD. So anyway, so this is like a whole other dimension of your code, right? You can have just your master branch, and then you can go off and work on these other branches to do things like, well, maybe you want to develop a new feature off in a branch so that it isn't messing with anybody else. Also, maybe you want to do sort of like what I'm doing is maybe you've released version 1 of your software. You've started on version 2. Now you need to go back and fix a bug in 1, so do version 1.1. Well, you go back in time, figure out what version was released. You can make a branch of it and then work on 1.1 that way. Anyway, I wanted to show you an example of how branching works in GitHub, and I'll get back to our TDD. Okay, cool. So now we want to start testing our says method. So let's see here. Let's first start with the name. Says contains student name. So let's see here. We can use our example right here. And we'll just say assert that, oh, I guess we need, actually, I'm sorry, we don't want to do this. We want to create a student instead. So now it's time to start testing the student class. So here again, where before we were sort of testing the main program, now we're going to be testing the unit. And actually, this is probably a better, strictly speaking, a better test than these other tests. That were the other command line tests. They were testing the validation, et cetera, et cetera. They were invoking the main. Some might argue that that's sort of more of an integration test than it is a unit test. And so, like what we're doing now, I think is probably more in the more what people expect from a unit test. So let's see here, student and gender and GPA and then no classes. And so then just a new array list for classes. Oops, what doesn't it like? Oh, Classes. Did I get them in the wrong order? I bet I did. Oh yeah, the classes come before that. I don't like that very much. Let's just have them be in the same order. So I think that's a bug. Let's see here. Change signature of that to that. Thank you, IntelliJ. You're so awesome. Okay. So assert that student.says contains string. Let's just put this in a variable. Name. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, expected string containing name, but was null. Let's go fix it. So now we're in red. Let's go to green. Okay, and we want this to say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't want to test says. We want to test the toString. Totally forgot there, so we got to change this. So it's really, we'll rename it by doing, let's see here, code, actually, a refactor, rename, Shift F6. So we'll say toString contains student name, toString. We'll run it again just to demonstrate that it does fail. And once more with feeling. Yep, still failing. Okay, so let's go to toString then, and say, okay, we're just going to return this .name. It has a field, okay, so now let's run it again. Oh, it passes. Excellent. Had we assigned? Oh, yes, we did assign this .name because of this call to super. And oh, what's all this? Why are these changes here? Oh, yeah, because we moved the parameters around. So let's format that a little nicer. Why is complaining about gender? Yeah. Let's see here. Did I? So the refactoring did okay with the Java doc. It's still a little messy there. Okay. And then. Oops. Set your fingers line the keyboard. Students. Gender. Male or female. Case insensitive. Okay. Nice. Okay, now let's go back and run all the tests just to make sure that they're okay. Yep, so that one is still ignored, but everything else is okay. Okay, so let's just do a quick check-in. And then toString method contains student name. Okay, and just commit. What are those warnings? We're gonna get rid of those. And push. Notice that's pushing back off to the tdd-done-better branch and origin, which is GitHub, as opposed to my local branch. Okay, everybody look good.
Okay, we're back. Oh, voice a little froggy this morning. As you can see, it's kind of early. But anyway, I just want to take a few minutes, make some more progress on this. Just doing some more TDD. So let's see here. I'm trying to remember where it left off. When we last left the session, we had, verified that the toString contains a student name. Let's go back to the assignment, see where we're at. Okay, looks like I got the student name right here, and now I need to get the GPA. So let's write a new test, which is void toString contains GPA. Oh, let's copy some of this. Student, let's see, I'm not going to care so much about the name, but I will care about the GPA. I'm just going to inline that variable. And I will then make this the, oops, gender's not what I want. Again, Mainline arguments seem like they're kind of in a funny order, but whatever. GPA. Is GPA a string? GPA should be a double. Right? The constructor here was a double. Oh, I guess in that refactor I lost that and didn't notice it. Okay, so let's change that to 3.45. It's complaining about it. Change third parameter from string to double. I like that. Oh, it's giving me a preview. That seems like the right thing to do. Okay, and now this guy's going to be a problem. So we'll just go make this guy double. And this becomes 3.45. Okay, and so now we want to have contain string GPA. Which probably doesn't compile because it's expecting a string. So we'll just do string value of GPA. Okay, let's run that. Thinking fails because it was only contains name. So no, let's just go and fix that. Student.toString and GPA. Oh, there's not a GPA field yet. We'll create a GPA field. It'll be a double. This.GPA equals GPA. And I want to make it final. Because it's initialized in the constructor. It never, used again. Or never, only initialized in the constructor. Okay, let's run that again. Okay, we went from red to green. I want to refactor a couple of things. I think speaking of refactoring, I think this is kind of messed up. So I wasn't careful enough when I did that refactor. Oh, get gender and classes confused? Okay, well, actually, it doesn't make much of a difference. Let's see here. Let's rename this guy, remain code occurrences. And we'll call this the gender. Nope, there's already one called gender, but here I want to change it again. Shift F6 to call it classes. Oh, that's pretty weird. Oops. Okay. So this. Let's see here. This copies this clipboard. You have copy old text. Put it up here. Oops. Sometimes IntelliJ helps, sometimes it makes it harder. There we go. And then this should be gender. That looks better. Okay. Quick run the test again to make sure that everything's good. I don't think there's more to refactor here, but I definitely want to refactor some stuff in the tests. Let's see here. Well, I was thinking, boy, there's a lot of duplicate code, like in creating the student. But in each case, there's like something that I want out of it, or I want to be able to specify I want the GPA. So if I just moved all of this code here to a method, I don't think I could then pick out the GPA as easily. So I guess I'll leave it for the time being. Let me run all of the tests now. Okay, everything ran. There's one other thing, as you probably noticed, when I implemented toString, I was very naive. I just said name and the GPA, but that's not what the assignment says. It says, oops, it says Dave has a GPA of blah. So I want to test for that. Of course, I'll write a test that fails. Tutoring contains name and GPA. All this good stuff again. Just going to align that. And I want to make sure that it says what name has a GPA. It was lowercase, right? Nope, uppercase has a GPA of 3.45. Okay, let's run the tests. And it's failing. Good. Let's do toString. And let's see here, has a GPA of that. Yay! Okay, everybody's happy. Let's see here, are there any other tests related to GPA? We already have the doubles, so we don't need any additional validation. So no, I think we're okay. Okay, so let's commit these guys, and we'll commit, and we'll say added GPA to toString. I'm not gonna bother pushing it. Let's commit it. 4 warnings. Oh, those warnings are probably like unused variables and stuff. Clean them up a little bit later. Okay, so done GPA. Classes is taking 3 classes, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's see here. Let's first get the number of classes. Right. Well, I can probably write one test that carries both. So let's see here. Let's start out with 0 classes. Void toString with 0 classes. Okay, so let's see here. This guy has 0 classes. I should say is taking is taking 0 classes. And should probably just end like that. I don't want any sort of colon or anything like that. Okay. Let's run this. Oops. Let's run this test. It fails. Good. Well, let's do the simplest thing to make this guy pass. And it is taking 0 classes. It is taking 0 classes. Now, this is a technique, that you saw Uncle Bob do, where it's just make it pass, even if it's ultimately not the right implementation. It just gives you some place to start. Okay, well, it's kind of easy. So let's try public void toString with 1 class. So let's see here. Class name will be, let's see here. Arrays.asList. So this is, oops, what am I complaining about? Java. Oh yeah, you know what? AsList just returns a list. The constructor takes an array list. It should take just a regular old list. This is actually pretty bad form. It sort of made sense for Project Zero, where we really hadn't talked about the classes in Java utility collection classes. But it's better to have your your public-facing methods, things like constructors and public methods, take the most abstract type because they don't really care because the code that's using this class doesn't really care that under the covers you're using an array list. As a matter of fact, you probably don't want to expose what's happening internally, the internal data structure. Instead, you should just say, hey, I just need something that that supports a list. So it's a Java utilist. As a matter of fact, let's all go generic-y. This will be a list of strings. What was that change? Signature change was detected. Well, that's nice. Doesn't really mean anything. Let's go back to student test. Go to compiling now. Oh, now here it's complaining about all this. And so I'll use the diamond operator. Oops, which, oh, you know what? This project is still using language level 1.6, which like yesterday was the case, but I changed it to use 1.7 last night. So let's see, can I reload the project? How do I do that? Other settings. No. Synchronize? Will that reload the project? Well, because we're on air, I'll just do this real quick. Yeah, I got a bunch of places to change. I'll use the diamond operator another time. Okay, that's great. Oh, I'm sorry, and I was hitting F2 to go to the next warning or next error. Oh, here's one misspelled classes. Okay. Okay, with one class. So it's taking one class Java. Oops, I don't want to run 0 classes. I want to run one class. Oh, no test matching method. What was that? That was weird. Okay. Oh, because I changed the name of the method and said you couldn't find it anymore. Absolutely true. Okay, so now we got to implement a little bit of logic here. Oh, and oddly enough, it took me right to where I needed to go here in terms of keeping track of classes. Field classes, list of string, super awesome. A go to toString, and that was Command F12 to show the other members of the class. Okay, and it's taking 0 classes. So I'm just going to first of all, let's see here. I'm going to put all the logic for computing the classes into its own method. I'm going to call it what? Format classes. So there's going to be some logic here. Okay, right now it's 0. I wonder if there was like refactoring first. Well, not going to let it bother me that much. Okay, and it's taking how many classes? So first, let's create a string builder. This is going to be a big string that we're building. And the first thing we want to do is append the number of classes that are being taken. So that's this stuff classes size. And then we want to sp.append. Oops. Go to classes. Now let's see here. So if this .classes.size is greater than 0, we want to have oops, we want that colon there. Oops. Otherwise, let's see here, and then the last thing we want to append is the period. Well, you know, I can just put that back up. Yeah, we can just put that there. And then we're going to return sp.toString. Oops. Okay. And then let's see here. If it's greater than 0, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to sp.append. Oh, I'm just going to make it work. I'm just going to append the first one. Yeah. This class is .get 0. So I'll try rewriting my test with one class. Yep, still didn't like it. Let's see here. It's taking one class. Oh, one class is. Haha. Oopsie. I guess I gotta be careful there. If this .classes.size equals 1, then I want to sp.append class. If otherwise, append classes. So this is a whole bunch of logic that I didn't get to on Wednesday night because I was only trying to get one test case to work. Now that I'm taking a more methodical approach, I'm building up the logic more incrementally. And I've got unit tests that validate that logic all the time. Okay, that guy's passing. Let's go back. Oops. Let's go back here. Run all the all the tests to see if I got the 0 class 1 working still. It does. It's super awesome. 20 tests. Okay. Boy, I feel like I should checkpoint and save my work. Because knowing me, I'll probably mess something up. Oh, did I want to refactor anything? No, I think I'm okay for now. Okay, so let's see here. Format. ToString supports 0 and 1 class. No warnings. No, 3 warnings. Yeah, those warnings are spelling mistakes. I gotta review those one of these times, but I'll come back to it. Oh, okay. 2 classes. Why I can't spell this morning? Classes disease. It sounds like something Gollum would say. Actually, I kind of sound like Gollum this morning. Okay. Java and Java and operating systems. So he's taking 2 classes. Java and operating systems. Okay. Run it, watch it fail. Good deal. Okay, it's taking, actually what I was expecting, and it's taking 2 classes. Okay, so we got the 2 classes, right? Now I just need to say Java and operating systems. Okay, so now instead of just doing the 1 class, let's print out the names of all the classes for string class name, because I can't use the word class because that's a keyword in this dot classes. If I can't use that, I need to use a for loop with an index, don't I? Because I need to say, I want to say if it's the last one, put an and before it. So I can't use this form of the for loop. Actually, let's change it here, I guess. For in I equals 0 while I is less than this dot classes dot size I plus plus. If I equals this dot classes dot size minus 1, so if it's the last one, append and or about spaces and getting it right. Otherwise append. Oops, sorry. Otherwise append that. Is that going to get it right? Let's see here. I'll print the first one, then I'll print and space, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll print the second one. I think that'll work. Okay, that worked. Let's go back and try, let's try all of them again. Let's make sure that 1 and 2 still work. So that one's all of them. Oh, something failed. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so in one class that failed because, oh yeah, it's the second one. It's not really the, yeah, it's it added the and in there and it shouldn't have. So let's go back and fix that. See, unit tests, they help. What's this tab doing up here? An old copy of student.java. That's interesting. It's like some old version. I don't know what that's doing. The fun part of this is going to be merging all this code back in. Okay. If I equals that, well, so then, gosh. I don't want to handle it. Do I want to say if the size is greater than 1? If dot classes, oops, dot size is greater than 1, and we've got the last one. It'll work. It's getting kind of complicated though. We run them all again. I'm surprised we're running all of them all the time. It all takes all of 0.056 seconds. That worked. I don't know if I like it though. Well, let's see. Okay, so now let's try 3 classes. Duplicate that. 3 classes. Operating system, Java versus compilers, Java. Okay, now we get the comma logic. Comma operating systems, comma and oops, compilers. The string's getting a little long. Oh, I don't need the string.value of. That'll make it a little smaller. The string.value of a string is obviously, well, a string. It just returns the argument. Oh wow. I made that mistake all over the place. The perils of copying and pasting. I'm kind of surprised that IntelliJ didn't warn me about that. I was like, this is probably something dumb that you're doing. Quick run it again. I think we should see 3 classes fail, but that's it. Yep, there's only one that failed. Okay, and no commas in here. So let's go back and fix the commas. Okay. So here, if I equals this dot classes dot size minus 2. Oh wait. Sorry, this should be if it's less than. Yeah. If it's less than the second to last one, then I want to put a comma. Yeah, that's not going to work right off the bat, but I'll run my test and see how close I get. Oh, the other one's passed, and oops, I don't want to put it before that. I'll put it after. Or maybe I should put the and logic after it also. That makes more sense. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to print the class if I am not the second to last one. I'll print a comma. If I am, what if I should change this logic too? I should say not the last one. So, so if I is less than, no, definitely not that. No, I think I still want, because we only want it on the last one. So we only want it on the second to last one. Right, after the second to last one, we want and. And I don't think we need this. That just seems like bad logic on my part. So if I'm less than, actually less than or equal to, so I put commas before the and. And I don't think, okay. It's probably gonna break a whole bunch of stuff. Haven't had breakfast yet. Blood sugar's low, not really thinking about how best to do this. 2 failed now. Okay. So what do I got? It's taking 2 classes, Java and operating systems. It's taking 2 classes, Java, comma, a whole bunch of spaces, and operating systems. So here, if it's, okay, so if it is the second to last, if it's less than the second to last one, put a comma. Otherwise, I might have to do a size check there. Otherwise, do an and then this one. Okay, just see, that's right. So I think the logic that I want is, oops, space, else if stuff classes dot size equals 2, just put a space. Oh, I want that logic. Okay, it was before the second to last one. Classes dot size equals 2. We just put a space. Otherwise, put a space, comma. If we're at second to last one, and no space, let's do a space here, and a comma space, and the last one. Let's try this one again. Oh no, still failing. Let's try that instead. Yeah, the and doesn't seem right. I just got 3. I don't know, it does need to be a comma. Nope, I'm not doing this right. I am fuzzy because I haven't had breakfast. Okay, append the comma, Java, comma, space. Okay. And so why didn't this work again? It's like working both times. Oh, because the first time the start class size is equals 2. That doesn't seem right. Oh, because this is only if it's less than. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, it's taking 2 classes. Okay, so that's just a wrong test. Is taking, which I'm sure some of you are like screaming at home, you missed it! 3 classes. Okay, everything's passing. I really hate this logic. Is there a better way to do this? Let me think. Seems really hacky. I can't think of anything yet. I think it's time for me to take a little break. Go get some breakfast and stuff. Okay, before I do that, let's just do one more test. Let's do 4. And I think 4 sort of is the same thing as 3. So let's see here. If I write a test and like it passes out of the gate, it probably means I've got the logic right. So 4 classes, operating system compilers, and poetry. There you go. Operating systems, compilers, and poetry. Let's try running tests again. Oh, what didn't it like? I did the 3, 4 classes thing again. 4 classes. Yay! Okay, everybody's happy. Okay, so I think I've got the logic right. I don't know if this code is as clean as it could be. Yeah, that method's getting a little long. I suppose it does still fit in one screen if I get rid of all of that, but boy. I don't know. Maybe I could do something like, what, pull that out into a method? I don't know. I want to think about it. I won't think about it after I have breakfast, though. I will quit commit this, and then format multiple classes. I'll commit and push this back up to GitHub. Okay, I'm going to review those warnings. What are they? Oh, don't use gender yet. Okay, that's fine. And then, oh yeah, okay, my main. Really, what? Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's true. I don't create my student my main yet, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Oh, I suppose the warnings are down here too. Okay, we'll go back to changes and commit those. But yep, reminds me that I've still got a lot of stuff to do. Yep, commit those. Push these recent changes back to GitHub. Okay, well, that's enough for now, and I'll catch it up later. Okay, I'm back. Got a couple more tests I want to write. Let's go back to the assignment. So I think we've got all of the classes okay. Now we just need to finish off with the second sentence. So let's see here. Got to get the gender pronoun right. So let's see here. Okay, let's void toString with female student contains she pronoun. Don't really care how many classes.
So let's do a new empty list. And let's see here. The gender is female. Now, I already have unit tests that demonstrate that the gender is case insensitive, so that's not so important to test here. So I'm just going to say this. She says. So let's run this. Okay. Good deal. Okay, so now we'll go to this. And toString is taking that many classes. Does classes have a period on it? It does. And let's have well, we'll have gender pronoun. I think there are actually 2 spaces there. We'll just make it a little bit more readable. Gender pronoun says great method. Oops. If this dot gender, oh, I guess we don't have a field yet. Equals female, then return she. Else. Well, I was going to do just return he, but you know what? To be better test-driven development, we should throw a new unsupported operation exception saying not implemented yet. This is a little overkill, but we're learning here, and so I think it's okay to be a little strict about things. Let's see here. I think this will get me to the the constructor, and so then this dot gender equals gender, and we'll create a field. It's a string. Super duper. Yeah, so we have the main method. Okay, so let's run the test again. I wonder if I always code in this like sing-song voice in my head. Okay. Cool. Oops. Scroll over to the right. Okay. This is female. Let's do male now. Oh, I'm not really going through and refactoring things after I'm doing red-green. This implementation is pretty straightforward, so I don't really feel the need. Male student contains he pronoun. Male, he says. Run this one. Not implemented yet. Exactly what I want. Otherwise, return he. Okay. What I'm thinking about, actually, okay, let me read. All right, run this. I'm thinking about that case insensitive requirement again. And, really, gender, instead of just being a string, it should be like an enum or something. Yeah, that's probably a better way of doing it. So this is a good chance to refactor. So instead of just having it be, instead of it just being a string, it should be an enum of either male or female. So I am going to commit this and then go back and refactor in a separate change set because it might be kind of impactful. So let's see here. Include gender pronoun into string. Let's come in and we'll push it yet. 2 warnings. Okay, yeah, I know what they are. I'll get them later. Okay, so now let's go through and refactor and replace gender and let's make it, just make it gender enum. Oh, I forgot something called gender, but that's not the gender I'm looking for. Oh, no. Create enum. I don't want it to be top level though. Can I create an inner enum? Create inner class, gender. Well, I'll just create an inner class and I'll just make it an enum. Private enum, gender, enum speaking, yep, okay. So I've got 2 values, male and female. I suppose I could put the gender pronoun on this, on the gender itself. I don't think it's that important, right? So the reason I have this enum, instead of just using a string, now I don't need to worry about like within the logic of the student class here. I don't need to worry about sort of doing the equals ignore case or anything like that. I know the only 2 values that I'm ever going to have for gender within the class are male and female. So now I just need to go through after I got a whole bunch of red in my program. Yep. Here, okay, so let's see here. Change field. No, change parameter gender to that dude. Yep. And that's what it wants, and that's fine. That looks good. Oh, it messed up the Java docs again. What did it change? No change there. Let's just done some reformatting so I can just revert these changes. Yeah, I don't know what. What is this one? Show difference. Yeah, let's come off back. Okay, so gender's now gender. Okay, so now I just want to say equals female. Gender dot female. Oops. Yeah, having those 2 gender classes here gets a little confusing. Which I really shouldn't. Oh, I was going to say, why do I have that? It's because it must be one of the example classes or something that's being pulled in without me realizing it. Okay, so I've got gender here. Let's run my tests again. Blows up. Oh, interesting. Blows up left and right because, oh yes. Yep, because there's not, because these are all strings. So let's see here. Let's replace this with gender dot male, and let's see, this guy isn't public, so it's probably not going to complain about that. Is that what it's complaining about? Yep. So I'm going to make it package. Yeah, I'll make it package protected. Well, actually, I should make it public because the constructor is public, and so otherwise, yeah. Okay. And and let's do a static import of that so it's easier to read. Static import. And let's do a static import of that. On-demand static import? I have no idea what that means. Why is it highlighted like that? Interesting. So this guy becomes male. Yes. Just to mix it up. Oops. Female. Super exciting. Refactoring is Master Yoda. Okay, go back to male. This really shouldn't make any difference at all. Here's where it does make a difference. Let's make sure to get it right. Okay, now let's run the tests again. That was just the one test, wasn't it? I need to run all of them. Okay, that one's okay. Now let's run all of them. Yay! 25 pass, 1's ignored. Okay, I think this is a pretty decent refactoring. Introducing a enum type for gender. Enum type for gender. Okay. Last thing, I think I've done everything I need to with gender, testing gender, and now I just need to say this class is too much work. So that should be a pretty straightforward thing. Look void all students say this class is too much work. Yeah, into string. Okay. This class is too much work. Do I have a... There we go. Go back and run everything again. Yep. Failed because it's not there. Says, oops, and then return this class is too much work. Okay, let's give that a try again. Yay, oh, that worked. Okay, almost there. Let's commit these guys off. All students say this class is too much work. Okay, back to the tests. Boy, I'm almost ready for this one, but you know what? I think before I do like the big invoke main, I want to make sure, I want to try sort of like the same test, but by invoking the student, by creating a student object. I'll make sure that one works first, and then I'll go and actually invoke the main program. So public void create student with example from assignment. So like instead of just passing them into the command line, we have Dave mail 3.64 raise.as list. Copy this here. And then we're going to assert well, interesting. Oh, result, yeah, student.toString contains that. Okay, let's see what this one does. Let's run it. Oh, didn't like it. Oh boy, what's the difference? But was David's GPA 3.64 and he's taking 3 classes, algorithms. Oh, it's that double space. I think there should be 2 spaces there, so I think that is an error. I'll do that. I think that's the only difference. Let's run them all. Cool. Let's see here. I haven't changed anything. I won't commit it yet. Okay, so let's pause for a second. Okay, so now let's unignore this test and see where we're at. See how it does. Okay, and it failed because expected that, but was that. That's not surprising because all those warnings that we've been ignoring are all down here in main. So, okay, so now what we want to do is we want to create our student. Validate gender. I think I want this one to return a gender. We might as well. And return okay, I guess we can just change this. We can say, so instead of this logic, we can say if gender equals ignore case male, then return male, gender.male, else if gender dot equals ignore case female, return gender dot female. Otherwise, we've got something bad. Else no. Otherwise, print usage and exit. We still need a return value here. Actually, what we'll do is we'll throw new assertion error shouldn't get here. Remember, we saw this the other night. The Java compiler makes sure that every branch in a method that has a return value actually does return a value, or throw an exception. And so we've got all that there. Okay, so now we've got validate gender. Oops, so we'll just make this a gender. Yep. GPA. Okay. Okay, so command line arguments. The name is args0. Oh, I think we also decided that args6. Well, that should fail for some reason. We need to change it on the other branch. Now I'm trying to remember why, but let's use test-driven development to find out. Okay, name GPA, and then the rest of them for I equals 0, 1, 2, 3. Is that right? Let me look at that example command line again. 0, 1, 2, yep, 3. To the rest of them are all the names of classes. While I less than args.length, I plus plus. Oh, I'm going to need some classes. List of string classes equals new array list of. Oh, really? Oh, now it's happy with the diamond operator? That's weird. Okay. Yes, for see it has an empty body. I'm working on it. Classes.add args I. And then student equals new student, name, gender, GPA, and classes, system.out.println, student.toString, or just student, that would invoke toString. System.exit 0. What is that for to complain about? Manual array to collection copy. Oh, you know, I think we saw this last time. What if we do the autocorrect? At all? Ah, it's too confusing. Yeah, again, I still don't like it. Okay, so I have to live with that warning. Although, can I just say Yeah, I can't say turn off that warning because it's annoying. So this should be if length is less than 3, because there are 3 arguments required. But boy, I really want to write a test for that, which would be what? Basically 0 classes on the command line. Huh. Well, okay, let's try running this one again and see if I got at least that much. Okay, so I ran all 27 of them. Now I want to understand why. I want to understand why I can't. Can I use the diamond operator? What is it like? That's really weird. Okay, I don't quite understand that. Maybe I can use the diamond operator on just for this assignment here. Okay, well let's see here. Everything seems to be working, and I think I've got a bug here. Let's see if we can write a test for it real quick. Oh, that's a good point. We don't have invoking the command line with 0 arguments. So, oops, stop. Test public void. I guess this is one of the things that our other tests that we wrote on Wednesday do point out. Is I would have caught this command line with 0 classes, and I just want to. So command line with 0 classes is okay, because I think this will expose a bug. 0 classes, insert that, get exit code 0. Runs all of them. Aha! 0, 1. I think also I had the result get error. Oops. Result. This way it'll print out the contents of standard error as the message for the assertion failure. Yeah, there we go. Not enough command line arguments. Wrong. That should be a 3. That's more feeling. Okay. Okay, well, let's see here. Am I done? You know, I could add a couple more tests that invoke it from the invoke the main method as opposed to just dealing with the student. But I'm pretty convinced that everything is okay. So I'm going to commit these changes. I'm going to say create a student from input from the command line arguments and print out the value of its toString method. Okay, and that's it. So I think I'm done, and I'm done with doing tdd-better. Now we get to do the really fun thing, which is we get to merge our changes back. So let's go back to GitHub. Let's see here, GitHub. Here we are. Let's refresh. Okay. So it says this branch is 9 commits ahead and 3 commits behind master. That's true. The master branch has 3 more commits than this branch. The first commit is like that really crazy one that we did on Wednesday night that I don't want, and then there were 2 more having to do with adding the jar files that I kind of do want. So what I want to do is I want to merge it in. One way to do that in Git is by making a pull request. The way this workflow usually works, let's say that we're working on an open source project. I make a fork of your repository, which means that I take everything that you've done, I make a copy of it. I can make my own local changes and things like that, and maybe I add a new feature or I fix some bugs and I want to contribute those changes back to you. I make a pull request. I'm saying, hey, owner of this other project, please pull some changes from my repository into your repository. So I'm just going to do it between branches, though. So GitHub has this workflow, and really it's just nice workflow around Git branching. So do tdd-better, And the comment here is going to be instead of testing just the command line, test the methods units of the student class. And note that it says, hey, we can't automatically merge these changes. And that's true. It's because the changes that we've made in this screencast conflict with the changes that I made last Wednesday. And now we'll need, and before we can merge these recent changes back into master, we'll have to resolve those conflicts. So I created it. It's saying that, hey, we can't automatically merge this request, so I'll have to use the command line. Oh, it gives you like some little help and stuff like that. That's cool. So let's see here. What do I need to do? I think I need to do this manually. I can do it in IntelliJ. I think it's a little easier. So what do I need to do? I want to go back to the master branch, and I want to merge in these changes from tdd-done-better. And so the way I do that is I can go to here, and I can say local branches origin master. Yes, I want to check out. And I do want to see, okay, so here's, right. So here's the stuff that I wrote on Wednesday, including like the big ugly thing and like my 0 classes are valid. So here is, here's that test that we added on Wednesday that we just added with a different name, mind you. Okay, so now what I want to do is first of all I want to make sure that I have like all the latest changes from GitHub, and I think I do. Okay, and so now, well, let's see here. Do I want to work on master? You know, so another thing is that I could make a branch of master, merge the tdd-done-right changes into that other branch, then merge that back into master. If I resolve the conflicts. No, let's give it a try. I'm just doing it from master. So under VCS, say get, and oops, I want to merge changes. So I want to merge changes from tdd-done-better into master. Right. And it's going to tell me I have a whole bunch of conflicts. Okay. Files merge with conflicts. So student test and student, yep, both have conflicts. Let's just take a look at the difference. Let's take a look at the differences at student first. This is just so we can see what IntelliJ looks like. Click merge. It gives you this three-way diff. So it's like, okay, here's the changes, the local changes, which are the which are the changes that are on the master branch. Here are the changes that I want to merge in from the here are the merges I want to change in from tdd-done-better. Notice it's got gender and stuff like that. And what this allows me to do is choose which version I want. Do I want, here's like the merge result, do I want the one that came from master, or do I want the one that came from tdd-done-better? I think I have some options here. Let's see here. Compare left and middle, compare right and middle, compare right, what was this thing? Apply all non-conflicting changes. So for instance, in both, I imported Java util list. Well, that one doesn't really conflict, so that should be able to merge automatically. So by doing this, it's basically saying, hey, listen, you know, I know that you, like if I made the same change on both branches, you should be able to merge that in without any problems. But it gives you the option. So I'm going to say, yep, go ahead and merge all those. And that got rid of a lot of stuff. And now I sort of have to deal with which ones I want. So here I just have the same guys in a different order. I want the ones from tdd-done-better, so I'll apply those changes. And then I also want the ones from this constructor. Format classes, get gender pronoun. Oh, interesting, I named the method a little differently. I think just in general, I want all of the ones from the tdd-done-better. But it's nice to be able to see like how different things look. Interesting, I wasn't able to merge that automatically because of the change in gender, so do that. So see what I'm doing? I'm sort of replaying all those changes that I made, which which because I just made them like all in the last 24 hours, is so pretty fresh in my head. This is really tough to do when you're trying to merge in changes that maybe you've made days or weeks or months ago. So, a good rule of thumb is make sure to keep your code up to date to resolve conflicts as quickly as you can. And then here's the gender. Oh, interesting. Okay. So things look a lot the same. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with the way I merged. It also helps to have a wider screen. It's kind of hard to read, but yeah, so I resolved those conflicts. And then student test. Well, let's do the merge again there. And let's merge all the non-conflicting ones. And then what's the difference? Okay. Oh, look at that. In tdd-done-better, done-better, I have a lot more unit tests. Where over here I only had 2. And it looks like, let's see here, command line example from assignment, command line with 0 classes is okay. I kind of like, honestly, I think this is a better implementation of that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these changes because I like both of those, but then I'm going to take the implementation from over here just by copying and pasting this guy. I had forgotten about that convenient method about that arguments are valid. Oops, let's go all the way down to the bottom and find that one. Did I lose a paren here? Nice. Okay, cool. Merge info. Merged with conflicts, those two things, and then a bunch of changes. Yep, that don't. So now, okay, I think what I want to do here is I want to run all of the tests to make sure they do run. Okay, 28 out of 28 all pass. So cool. So so let me just look at then. Can I get the history? Well, maybe I don't have merge info. Well, we'll see. Okay, so let's commit these guys. Cool, it tells me merge branch tdd-done-better. It even tells me which files were in conflict. That is actually super helpful. Gosh, I think it should say more, but I think this is pretty much it. Merge branch that guy into it. So we're just going to commit and push and see what happens. Let's see. No errors one warning. Yeah, the same one warning I had before. Commit all these guys from main. Oh, he's in master. Oh, there it is. It even tells me. Pull request successfully merged and closed. So wow, it detected that I had done it automatically. That is super cool. So normally what I would have to do is just merge it manually, but since I merged it, GitHub and is smart enough to know that I merged in the background. And so now if we go up to our code, we'll see, yep, that, and then if we go to history, oops, commit. Let's go back in time here. So it's like, okay, here's like where I lost all discipline, and then here's where I added like some new jar files and stuff, and now here are the changes that I merged in over the last couple of days. So this is really cool. At least I think it's really cool. I don't know if you guys have seen anything like this before. I thought I would take advantage of this opportunity to show it to you, and I think I've done justice to test-driven development for the student program. I'm happy with what I've got, and I think that's enough for now. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in class on Wednesday. Bye.